Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. I feel like I've been away for quite a while. I don't think it's been that long, to be honest. I just feel like a lot has been crammed in since I've been away, but it's lovely to be back. Today's reading is going to be what is blocking your manifestation, whatever your manifestation is. We will hopefully find out and dig and delve through the reading. You have got three choices as per usual. You've got Freesia for number 1. Number 2 is Candy Pink. And number 3 is Moon Rock. So if you want to take your choice, and then we'll have a little look together.
La música de Harry Frog.
Okay, pile number 1, I'm going to start talking before I start looking, which sometimes works out horribly and sometimes works out with more, I guess, intuition rather than trying to look like you can know what you're doing, to be honest. This is what I'm feeling here. There's a strong feeling of self-flagellation. There's a strong feeling that you feel like you need to look like you're working hard. And I've often worked with people like this who, it's difficult to say, because I think that, who cares what I think? I think that it's important to work hard for what you want, but this has a feeling, I feel like we have to start this again, of that the ability to work hard, the ability to put pressure on yourself, and the ability to achieve with regards to probably whatever your family think is achieving, whatever you feel is right inside yourself to look like you're on top of the world and doing what you're doing is important to you, to the point that you are not letting your dreams out. And those mixed messages in your life are blocking where you want to be. So I hope that sounds clear to you. And that's the trouble with starting without thinking. You've got the 8 of Fire here for you, which is somebody who's impetuous, somebody who's fun-loving and open and laughs and enjoys life and sees the purpose of life, which is to enjoy yourself, basically. But you've got that with the 6 of Pentacles. I don't know if that's true, that's what I feel. And you've got that with the 6 of Pentacles, which is sort of the opposite feeling of having to work hard. And I know I've been watching a lot of the Amber and Johnny Depp trial at the moment, and there's a feeling here with lawyers that they tend to embrace these two qualities together, because I'm watching it thinking that these people are working all evening, they must be working all evening. But there's also that thing, the feeling I get from lawyers, probably a Jupiterian feel of seeking the truth and the confidence to stand there and get that out of people, that there's probably a wild side to these people. And I always feel that with accountants, don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's probably a few that I've met, and I'm always looking to see that these two qualities, whether they come up in other people who are in the same occupations. So this is what I'm feeling at the moment. Somebody who's, fun-loving, likes late nights out, likes to enjoy themselves, loves partying, likes to... an ideal situation is a late night in a bar somewhere hot with friends, laughing, joking and playing, but you work really hard. And you've got here Capricorn at the side, which to me in my mind is your drive. Your drive is to achieve. So your drive would be to achieve materially, to feel financially secure, and to probably with Capricorn to be seen for that, whether it's by yourself or by others. It's just important to you. Then you've got cards down here of what I would say the 5 of Pentacles is restriction. And this is where that flagellation word comes in. It's that restriction from... you may not feel like you deserve the fun parts in your life, or you may feel like one overrides the other. Then you've got here the Lovers card here for your basic ego and your drive, and for the 7 of Cups here for your basic instincts, I suppose, as well, in some way. This is more instinctual, this is more your ego. So you've got here a feeling of somebody who's the Lovers and the 7 of Cups who deep down, underneath this drive, underneath this need to achieve, is a strong feeling of what I would say a creative soul. You know, somebody that likes to love and sing and write poetry, read poetry and dream and imagine and, yeah, fall in love. Doesn't have to be with somebody else, fall in love with life. So you've got two different parts to you, I'm guessing here. And the Queen of Cups here to me is what you should be manifesting. And that is going back to these qualities here, which is ignoring the working and the pushing and the drive and the material. So what you should be manifesting to me feels like emotions and love and contacts and people and living your dreams and creativity and being an artist or expressing yourself creatively in some way. And to put that Capricornian effort, is there such a word as Capricornian? Yes, it's in the dictionary, into this. And that would be magnificently magnetic together. Somebody that puts that drive into the beauty of contacts and others and caring is a precious thing in this world, I think. And where you're blocking yourself is by not just sitting back and allowing that, you know, you're working hard anyway. It's like these cards here, with the Six of the Six of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, feel like you shut yourself out of appreciating what you've achieved so far or appreciating the contacts that you've got. It's more like, gotta keep moving, gotta keep going. And I always refer to this in my own little pea brain as the headless chicken. You know, that type of feeling of running around. And I think we identify with these things because we do it with ourselves. You know, the things that you talk about or that you feel are things that you have done yourselves. And that is almost like an anxiety feeling of trying to keep on top of the world in its very mundane sense. Of trying to look like you're doing something, trying to not let it slip, or which is good to a certain degree. That anxiety keeps you afloat. But sometimes, you know, there's a certain degree, and I think anxiety should be like 10-20% of your life, nothing more than that, because it keeps you aware. But this has a feeling that, you know, with regards to the question, what's blocking your manifestation, that is what's blocking it. It's almost, to me, advice would be, and I think that you have had, because you've got the Devil card here, you know, there's blocking you here, and the Tower card. I think that you've had some big trip-ups in life that you know what the answer to this already is. That, you know, money may have got in your way, or you've made a decision in your life to follow a practical route or the more sensible route, and things may have fallen to pieces. With the Tower card and the Devil card here for your blockages. You know, that is a big... not eureka moment, is what's the opposite of eureka? I don't know, doom moment, when you realise, you know, these two together, and I think I've said this in other readings, with these two together and this spread. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Leap Year. I love that film. It's, you know, it's about a lady who, what is her name? The lady out of Nocturnal Animals with the red hair. Leo. I know people's star signs. I know the charts, don't know the names. Anyway, this Leo lady with red hair, American lady, goes to, not Italy, to Ireland, and she meets this Irish guy who lives not far from here, actually. And it's just a silly, silly film of them basically falling in love. But he says something to her while they're travelling, as in, you know, that moment when the fire alarm goes, what the other person gets, where is their heart lies type of reading, type of... sentence even. And obviously back in their really posh flat with her old boyfriend in the States, the fire alarm goes and he goes for his laptop and he's pushing it in and she's just standing watching it. This feels like that moment. You know, this is financial, this is mundane, this has been attached to things that you possibly should be letting go now. And I think here already you've had a couple of epiphanies where you may already know that that you felt that. You know, you've chose something that has kept you practically alive, maybe, don't know, you know, I don't know, or you've chose something that you've had to rule with your head rather than with your heart. And this whole spread is saying that the reason you're not manifesting what you want is let's look in a kinder way that it's now time to manifest with your heart, your dreams, your attachments, your the softer side of yourself, rather than always thinking that, you know, this could be somebody with Capricorn in them, you know, possibly Virgo, Capricorn mainly, to be honest, with the Five of Pentacles here. You feel that life may trip you up unless you keep your head above water. And this is saying maybe that has been so in the past. You know, you have feelings here with this type of spread where you have, I refer to my dad here. My dad's dad died when he was 14. So he had to come out of, he was, which is quite an achievement at this time. And I know that, makes me sad talking about it, that he was pulled out of normal school and put into grammar school. You know, mum and dad weren't rich or anything, so that was a big achievement in our family. But he got pulled out at 14 because his dad died, so he went to work. You know, this could have, in a similar sense, with this feel here, that you could have experienced something like that, or you could have observed something like that, and it's made an impact in you, whether it is, this is going to sound like Gladiator, in this life or the last. And so that need, that struggle is something that is I'm going to say inbound inside you. What's the word? It's internal. And this here, the trouble that you're having manifesting is you may already have done that. And it's still okay for a certain percentage to make sure, you know, of course it's okay to make sure that the basics are covered. You know, you've got petrol in your car, you've got mortgage, you've got food on the table. But apart from that, this is saying that you have had, what I would say, slaps across a face with a wet kipper, to say in the past that you've got to release that little bit now. You know, just have enough money and enough reserves to keep yourself ticking over, and nothing more than that, because then you will release yourself, and this will help you manifest where you need to be, to create, to put your heart into your relationships, all the people around you that you love and your family, with these cards here, the Seven of Cups and the Lover's card being those very internal cards, and the blockages being the devil. And the Capricorn and the Seven of Pentacles here makes me feel that you're very good at working, you're very good at pushing, but there's a part inside of you with the Eight of Fire and the Lovers and the Seven of Cups that is wildly beautiful and wildly suppressed. You're good at working, you're good at shouldering things, you're good at taking responsibility. You may, even if that doesn't feel so right, that may even come out in anxiety, where you're a list maker, or you feel like you're never good enough, or you apologise too much. And that makes me feel sad, because we can all identify with this. We can all identify with this feeling where, you know, we never really feel good enough, do we? And, you know, it comes out in different ways in different people. And I don't think, you know, as I said, with that 10-20% of anxiety, it's not always a bad thing, because you do keep trying. But there needs to be times in this spread here where it feels like you need to pull back and just feel the support that you've got around you. And okay, so what I'm going to say here is I'm going to start summing it up. What is blocking your manifestation is your need to feel like you are going to achieve by achieving, when you're going to achieve by releasing yourself, by still working hard. You've got Capricorn here, which is more like a type of your drive and your desires. You know, you're still going to work hard, but you're going to work hard at those things that feel like they're things that are important when we're gone. The people around us, the expression, you know, expressing yourself, the warmth that you have inside yourself. Your ability with this Capricorn here is to make every moment precious, to, you know, to appreciate, that Capricorn energy would be to appreciate enjoying your work, rather than just doing and wondering where you're going to get towards at the end. It would be enjoying nature, your food, your comforts that you already have, and not trying to get more here. and in understanding the lessons that you've had up till now, because things repeat themselves over and over again. It's a huge part of our life. We go around in circles and things repeat themselves. So I think that you already know where you stand on this. So what's blocking your manifestation is your inability to relax with yourself. It's your need to, slightly, I'm going to say anxiety, but maybe the wrong word, need to, oh, my thing's clicking at me, excuse me. Stopped. To feel like you carry the buck or whatever it is. I don't say buck. I used to listen to people in Australia saying buck, and I wanted to say it because I wanted to sound like I lived there, but I just couldn't get the word out, so to say dollar. Okay. I'll talk about what is blocking your manifestation is your need to love is just as important as your need to succeed. Your need to, or your desire, or what you probably need to do is to realize you can't order love. You can't put it into a package. You can't have an end result to it. To feel, you just need to feel, you need to relax, you need to let it flow, to keep pushing forward, but to appreciate the worth and what you put into relationships here. Your contacts and your dreams and your desires need to be more, with the Seven of Cups down here, more free-flowing and less tapered to an end result. Your self-expression with the Eight of Fire here at the top is incredibly important. So this is the type of reading with regards to, especially if you've got a hobby that you love and that you don't think you can earn, but you've got enough to pay the bills. That's fine. To me, it would feel like you need to go down that hobby route. There's a feeling here that people, expression, creativity, enjoyment is far more important here, with this being tripping up with the Devil card here and the Capricorn up here, than achieving. And that's what's blocking your manifestation, is probably that the fear of relaxing into those things that probably in your early childhood, maybe growing up, that you thought were silly or not worthy. And I suppose with this spread here, it's like, when we're all, those last moments, our last breath, and we're looking back, what are those things that we are going to say made us feel alive? And it will be our friends, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, mothers, fathers, children, relationships, attachments, and dreams and desires that we have expressed in this short time that we have here. And the Eight of Fire here, there's nobody who's more capable of doing that than you, because you do it with, well, I would say a sense of excitement and verve, and you have that spark in you that possibly not many people have. And you've got the hard work, what's the word when you've got the work ethic, to be able to do that in a way that that lets it be felt by others. Well, you can have this, and this energy here, the Eight of Fire here, and it can dissipate into drunken debauchery. But with this spread here, it's like you could almost make that fun for yourself and fun for, in an organised, methodical way, which I know that's not the way you should be aiming for. It should be part and parcel of a natural expression. And you could do that in some way that makes life feel incredibly beautiful for you and for others. And I don't really know what I mean by that. It's like almost, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think here. People that do this type of thing. Entertainers. That type of feeling, and there's hard work behind that, isn't there? I don't know what entertainers, it could be like managing a bar, it could be actually being a comedian, I don't know, but it has this feeling here of self-expression and contacts behind a lot of what I think comes naturally to you, hard work. So what's blocking your manifestation is not expressing your true personality enough, not relying enough on your spontaneity and your, you know, your love of freedom and your wildness, which is probably loved by everybody, and thinking that you need to knuckle down too often, and possibly as well not paying enough attention to your intuition with these cards here. And those, I don't mean intuition in general. I don't, you know, you're probably somebody who's very intuitive anyway, but with these cards here, and especially with this card here, it feels like you can block things out yourself. You've had somebody knocking on your door before saying, you know, stop it, relax. So I'm going to leave that there, pile number 1. What many have I done? Which to me is a ticket to be yourself, a ticket to not be anxious, a ticket to express, a ticket to use the qualities that you've obviously had up until now to keep rolling, but almost in a very sort of freewheeling way. Contacts, emotions, creativity and beauty need to be pulled into your life in a way that, you know, you have this image of somebody, if they were older, they were in a garden, in a wine garden with olives, and, you know, it's like somebody who's relaxing, who's watching family, and that type of feeling here, like the 10 of Pentacles card, because you've attained, but now it's time to enjoy. You can still keep pushing, but enjoy it more. So relax, because that's what's stopping your manifestation. You're just basically probably getting to a wheel here with these cards here of not feeling satisfied but still working hard, not feeling like you're accepted but still working hard on that, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. It's like, sit back, relax, enjoy who you are. Because these cards here speak to me of somebody who's incredibly fun to be with, somebody who has a big heart, amusing, exciting, spontaneous, freedom loving, that people enjoy being around you just because you're who you are. So you'll get more of what you want if you just rely on these qualities. Which is a silly thing to say, but the more that you express yourself, you get people around you of the same vibration possibly, and things start opening up. And that's a difficult hurdle to jump over to actually just fall back on your, especially if your self-confidence is a little bit whipped, to fall back on your basic personality. But sometimes in relaxing and opening up, it's like taking the layers off, isn't it? If you say like your really heavy coat and this, and you're almost standing there in the nude, and there's something really attractive about just being yourself in the nude. Anyway, pile number 1. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much and good luck. Okay. Oh, let me just squiff the camera a bit. That's straighter. Okay, this has got, it's a similar feeling to pile number 1 in a different way. This has got a feeling of you've reached the end of the line with regards to something that you may have had to repay if you believe in past lives. It's not a negative feeling, it's just a feeling like you've done it, you know, tick it off, that's great. Well done. There's a feeling here that, I'm just going to say this just straight away, you know, if you're in a marriage or if you're in a commitment that you feel you're not getting anything from, this has got a feeling that you could have, you know, it could be like a South Node connection where it's the end of the line. You know, if you're feeling this, if it's not, it may have nothing to do with you, but that is, you know, it's okay to, if this hits home, it's okay to move on from that, because it feels like there's a feeling in here of particular timing, I suppose. They've got, to me, it feels like you're a carer. There's a feeling of anxiety with that as well, that you can't care enough for people. You can never give enough. This Cancerian feeling here with the Four of Wands for you of stability, but with the little eggs in this little turtle's belly and shining the light. You could have or feel it's part of your life's path to support people, to be there for people. You could be the oldest child. It doesn't really make any difference, but in some way something has probably happened, and I think so many things happen up to our early teens that we tend to take into ourselves and say this is us, but it doesn't always have to be that way. Oftentimes it feels like it is, and you can see in people's charts, but there's a feeling here that you have been somebody's shoulder to cry on, or somebody's support, or you take yourself seriously with regards to what you can provide for others. You've got the Eight of Air here as well, which is the lady who's trapped, but this lady here is trapped underneath a log. But that it basically is indicative of your mental processes. There's something in your mind that has trapped you. As soon as I'm saying this, my eyes are going down here to your blockages, which is the Karmic Release card and the Three of Swords. So I say this to explain where I'm coming from. And that gives me a feeling of what I said earlier, that there's something in your mind processes, there's something in who you think you need to be, that it may be time to let go. If you're attached to something that's causing you pain, it's like to release that, to let it go. And the things that spring to mind here could be, it's relationships that spring to mind, I think, that doesn't have to be, but of, you put so much into something, you're getting nothing back, or that your childhood was difficult, it's like forgive and move on, or that you're in a relationship now that you feel it's just not moving forward. It's like, that's fine. You've done that bit. It does have quite a strong feeling in this here. Then you've got here the Hierophant card, and once again, it's the helping hand. You are everybody's helping hand. There may be something. You've got Capricorn again, which the first pile had over here. And it makes me think of, if that's your desire nature, it's to feel stable and to look stable, and to it's that person that goes to work and comes back and provides. It doesn't have to be a work situation. That's just life in general. You provide for people. You're the sensible person that people rely on. Then you've got the Empress card again, straight underneath the Four of Wands with the little turtle with the eggs in its belly. You're the carer, you're the person that has that eye out for other people, I guess. So this is what I'm feeling here, is what you've manifested so far, because this is on this side, there's more to it. And then more as your basic instincts is the Lovers, which is like a Libra feeling. I know it's not Libra, the Lovers, but of being diplomatic, of seeing, both sides of the fence and striking a middle ground, and people pleasing to some extent, in a very sort of wanting things to run smoothly type of way, rather than an anxiety or insecurity, or wanting to be liked. This has got more of a feeling of, you want everything to be smoothed over, you want people to feel like they belong, you want people to feel it doesn't have to be comfortable, as in like, it does feel like this, but it doesn't have to be comfortable with regards to relationships, or with regard to a home situation. It doesn't mean that you don't like an argument or anything, but it just feels that you like things to be steady. The Hierophant, the Empress, and the Four of Wands, and that may have caused you some anxiety. It's like, it's just got to be just so. It's not like OCD, but that's how you function. Things are in order and everybody's there. And it doesn't mean that you have to be somebody who fluffs around and faffs around and is making people cups of tea and do you like that type of person. It just is that you get a sense of security when things are in order with regards to basics, caring, financial stability, possibly with the Hierophant maybe being Taurus, but it's more a case of just general let's just say you're going on holiday And I'm trying to think of this type of personality. There could be some anxiety with regards to making sure that the accommodation is totally covered, that you're not arriving at places late at night, and you may be pulling the rest of the group around who are just wanting to go and get, go and party. And you're like, no, come on, we've got to make sure that we don't know our accommodations. Let's make sure we get there before it gets dark. And it's not, that type of feeling that you can sometimes get an anxiety through being the stable one. Okay, that's probably what I'm getting here. But there's a drive inside you, possibly with the Capricorn, that, it's important for you to do that. But then these release cards here and these pain cards here. Now, your way forward is the Queen of Swords. Now, what's blocking you are these cards here, but where you should be going is the Queen of Swords, which is funny that you've got the Eight of Swords up here. So that to me is what is blocking your manifestation is which I suppose is the same with everybody, but not always, is your mental processes, the way that you you block yourself in with thoughts that don't serve you anymore. Or there could be some feelings here of being more, not less general, would be, as I said earlier, like OCD or repetitive thoughts, overthinking, or going around in circles and coming back to the same thought that you still can't get away from it. Or there could be a feeling of with these cards here of hurts from the past blocking you, that you need to get a rein over now with the karmic release and the Three of Swords here. So if you've been taken advantage of in a relationship when you've cared for somebody, if you've been married to somebody or you've been in a relationship where it hasn't really served what you thought you needed to get, perhaps you had long-term idea of where this relationship should be going and you didn't get it, and you're still holding on to that here with the Eight of Swords. The Queen of Swords would be saying to you to make sure that you're still bringing things towards you is to change your mental processes and open up to what you actually want next, rather than ruminating over something that is long gone and needs to be let go. You've loved, you've given, you've cared for, you've been stable for people, and perhaps you've been ambushed. It hasn't worked out because it feels like you're a long-term grower here with the Capricorn card here, and the blockages here that you've got is hurts that need to be released. So what is blocking you is your own mind. This gives me a feeling of when you're I've been away for a week, so a lot of the things I'm thinking about are, when I give examples, are in relation to that type of thing. This didn't happen, but this is where my mind's going. Just imagine you're walking on a really, really busy street. Let me think if I can think of something that's more interesting than that. Okay, no, I can't. Okay, but I can think of something that's not related to that. But okay. Let's pretend this is true, that you, once years ago we went sailing and we were told by the company, my husband loves boats anyway, we were told by the company to get to this first drop-off point. So we got to this drop-off point and we all got out of the boat. And there was nothing else there. We never been to this island, had no idea, but had to walk through the docking area. We had to walk through a restaurant. Anyway, we went walking. We just wanted to walk because we'd been on a flight and we thought we'd just go for a walk and come back down and get something to eat at this restaurant. Anyway, we're walking through the restaurant and this guy is shouting at us in front of, and we don't really get ourselves into these sort of situations very often, so it's a bit of a shocker, shouting at us in what I assume was Greek, yelling at us that where are you going and you know what you're doing, and basically thought we were walking to another restaurant and we had to eat at his restaurant because we docked on his docking bay or whatever it is, and it was really fierce. And we went back to we scuttled back and had bloody noodles on the boat, just to hide, and we felt as if we'd been just abused a little bit. But the next day, and we sort of, the next day we were like, we're on holiday, you've got 5-6 days, forget it. And we just got on with it. But sometimes you can ruminate and take that person almost on the rest of your holiday with you, couldn't you? This has got this feeling to it that if you've put effort into something, if you've cared for people or loved somebody and felt attachment to somebody, it's like, don't let that, the effort that you put in was for you, not for them. It's for you to show you who you are. This has got a feeling that you need to let that go in some way, and that could, because that is actually causing a blockage with what's coming next. You can almost recreate your next experience in exactly the same manner until you move on mentally, and this has got like a magician feel to it, the whole pile. Be aware of what you're actually manifesting in some way. Because I think that you like to, with a Capricorn here, possibly have a long-term goal. And if you're thinking here, because these are such stable cards, if I put the effort in, why has this not happened? Yeah, and there's like I can think of quite a few marriages like this, especially like, you know, parents type of marriages where you've expected to be together for a long time. It doesn't have to be a marriage, could be a work situation, could be anything. And you've both put the effort in. You know, I'm thinking of my parents, you know, mum brought the kids up and she kept a good home and all that lot, and the marriage didn't work. So these cards here, because it's just let that go now. No, they weren't compatible anyway, but they were just stuck in a rut of that's what you should do with Capricorn because you've committed. And it feels like these cards here, what's blocking you is letting it, you know, you just got to let it go and just heal from it, and don't take that person on your sailing boat with you. Doesn't have to be a person, could be you've been scuppered in a work situation, or somebody's betrayed you and you've actually loved them and put the effort in and, you know, thought that it was stable. But your mental process is the most important thing in this pile, and moving away from the hurt. That is what's blocking your manifestation. And to me, this would feel like you've got to take on that magician card, as in, you know, your thoughts and your intentions and your actions need to be totally honed in here to where you want to be next, and shove that aside. Keep those, if you enjoy this feeling about yourself, keep it, but don't blame anybody else for what you put into a situation. It was part and parcel of, probably with the karmic release card here, that you felt you needed to do. So you've almost like outpoured that, you know, this outpoured that, and it's hurt. So you just got to move on. So if there's something where I'm saying this in your life, you know, whether it is a personal relationship or a situation that you still ruminate about or you still think about, I'm going to be rude now. Who cares? What's next is what you've got to say to yourself. You learned that lesson. It was meant to go. It's like a self-node contact with that one. Yeah, that hurt. But you're asking here, and you're not asking, I'm reading it because it was part of the question. What is blocking your manifestation? It's your mental ability to keep flicking back to the past, when really the magician card is your strength here, and it's where you're going next. Get that mood board up, stick where you want to be, who you want to be, what type of things you're attracted to, what makes you feel excited, you know, what type of person do you want in your life. Get that going, because that is what this spread says. Your blockage is your mind processes, not anything concrete around you. It feels like, well, I put the effort in and I deserve it, and you're still thinking about it, when this is like saying, no. Well, no, doesn't really matter either way. It's like, this is the rude card, the rude part. It's not me saying this, it's the rude part that's saying this. Like, who cares? What do you want next? Let it go. What do you want next? Who do you want to be next? Where do you want to sit in a few years' time? You know, what type of people do you want around you? What job do you want? What do you want to express about yourself? And this is what's blocking your manifestation, is possibly you need the time to sit and do that. Draw a picture, who you want to be, where you want to be, what job do you want to be, what relationship do you want to be. Write down 3 things about the person that you like around you. And I was thinking this morning, because quite a few people have asked for pregnancy readings, about 2, quite a few. And out of all the things in my life, that's wrong. There are a couple of things, but one of the main things in my life that I feel that the magician card actually works is when you're pregnant, when you actually imagine the child that you think is coming. You don't do this consciously, you do it subconsciously, and that child comes out like that. It comes out with that personality. You know, sometimes if it's a book you're reading and you're getting engrossed in a character, and it's so important when you're pregnant to keep your mind processes where you want them to be, because I've got a feeling that your child, picks up that in osmosis in some way, shape or form that I sound silly saying and that we don't really know yet. And that weaves into the making of that child. I don't know yet, but I do honestly think, and I will do I'll do a pregnancy read about this. But this is what I'm thinking with this pile. Positive, because you feel like you've done something. But if you feel as if you're hanging on to something again, that's release it. That's what's blocking your manifestation. By A, possibly overthinking the past, and by B, which is really positive, because the ability is there to get yourself a plan, get that mood board, get it flowing. Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Okay, pile number 2. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to comment, because I love reading your comments. I think that's it. But Patreon's is on Patreon if you fancy looking at that too. Thanks very much. Bye. Okay, pile number 3. Good morning, Starshine, with this one. I think this is a beautiful, beautiful pile, and I wonder whether I'm going to do it justice, is what I'm thinking here. You're coming across as the Magician and the Star, so there's a feeling here that you are... Sorry, my thing's clicking at me, one moment. There's a feeling here that you are... Ah, lady. Stop it. You're like all and sassy, everything, and wildly creative in a very sort of knowing way. This is what I mean. This is going to be very difficult for me to talk about this one because it's so beautiful. There's a feeling here that you've been here many times before and you know what you're doing, and because you feel it, because you know it from experience, and you feel things and know things that other people who are busy chugging around have difficulty acknowledging because they're too busy in the mundane. You've got Pisces here, you've got the Magician, you've got the Star for you. So this is me just looking at how I'm feeling you initially here. So this is somebody who automatically reverts to who they are and what they want to be, and it all comes together in one great big... It's like a compression of your thoughts and your feelings and your actions, and then it gets pushed out immediately. It's like you don't have to, you probably do meditate with these cards here, you don't have to meditate. It's almost like your intuition and your insight and your knowledge is just flipped automatically, and you live it almost, no, this is wrong, I was going to say almost immediately, but I don't think we live things almost immediately until we are dead. And then it's immediate. This has got a feeling here, the fact that you are so good at doing this in this world now where everything is very slowed down, that you will in your afterlife, wherever that is, be at ease with yourself. Because you are doing it already. You know that whatever thought you're pushing out is going to come back to you. There's just a time, there's just a delay in this world. Your actions, that everything, every foul thing you do to somebody, every beautiful thing you do to somebody comes back at you. We just don't see it in this world because it takes months, years, lifetimes to come back to us. You know this already, and you're living it to me with these cards here. The Magician, the Star, and Pisces here. And Pisces is your drive. What do you get, what do you want, and how do you get it? And that has got a feeling that it's laid back and smooth, and an understanding for caring for others. With these cards here, Pisces can be a little bit slippery, and you can't really, for a drive card it's difficult, but to me it feels almost ethereal. Nebulous was the word I was thinking last night on the couch. Nebulous. There's a feeling here. This is too honed in and too all together for that to be too nebulous. To me, that almost gives the heart to the experience, which feels like Aquarius and Mercury together, which is your mind and manifesting. And then that Pisces there gives it the heart, which is needed. That's the reason that we're here. You've got it. To me, this feels like what's blocking your manifestation is your confidence, not your ability. Okay. There's a feeling here that, there's a strange feeling that there's ease inside you that loves to be with people, that cares for people, and that people love you. And you've got what I would say, the ability to live alongside others in a way that feels like there's contentment there, and it's so difficult to read this one. It feels like you've got it set. There's a feeling of you walking down a street with people, with family, with strangers, and there's a flow from your heart to them that is easy flowing and absolutely beautiful. There's an ease in yourself, there's an ease in your character and the way that you express yourself in this, and you're on the right track. This is that there's not much blocking this manifestation, but there are blockages here. Your blockages are your darker side, which we all have, because we're all still working ourselves. We wouldn't be here if we weren't. We wouldn't be here strapped to this world unless we still had things to keep moving on. And this is a feeling that may weigh heavy on you with regards to how you manifest things. You may actually feel a little bit too much that, because this is like a pile that it comes naturally to, but you're still aware of those things inside you which need to be improved. You've got the shadow self here. So there's a feeling here that not to take that too much on yourself. Let's just say you've got like a ruler and you're on a timeline and you've got to get to the end. I don't think there is such thing as a ruler. You're going to get to the end and come back again, probably in some shape or form. But let's just say you've set this over lifetimes and you've got to get to this end of the ruler. It's like you're almost there, but you're still looking back and thinking, oh, I've got so much to do, because it's come so naturally to improve yourself. And this has again got a feeling of relaxing here. There's a feeling here of not trusting your intuition as much as you should do. If this was a pile that came up in one of those, what can I do to improve my intuition or my psychic abilities, or, my tarot reading or my insights, my meditation, this would be just do it and have confidence in yourself with the Fool card and the shadow self. It's like you don't feel that you're worthy in some way in this pile. And I often think that people like this may think that because they've tried so hard and it's part and parcel of who they are. And I remember a really crude quote, which I think can be related. This is crude, I didn't say it honestly, can be related to life in general. Somebody, I was young and it always stuck in my mind. I thought that's really mean. It was somebody saying, I think it was on TV, how they always go for ugly partners because they try harder in bed. Which I'm not saying this is true. It's one of those like laddie programs that you get, like American Pie. And I think that actually is part and parcel of the way that you feel about your life here. It feels like you still need to try hard because you've got your shadow self. I'm not meaning physically unattractive. I'm just meaning you can pick out the ugly bits inside you and you're concentrating on them. There's beauty inside you that is far more important to. This is a really beautiful pile to concentrate on. You've come so far in this one. So what's blocking your manifestation feels like guilt, feels like, am I good enough? The Pisces there is probably questioning and wondering, and it's quite vulnerable Pisces. And the Fool card here, to me, feels like, I don't know, to be honest. This is what I'm thinking. It feels like you've either tried things before and it's not worked, so your confidence has been knocked. To me, though, it doesn't feel, because this is like a blockage, the blockage is here. To me, the Fool doesn't feel like your blockages because it goes with the Star card here and the Uranus, which are part of your qualities anyway. So to me, it feels like these two come together, as in your blockages are not trusting your intuition and your insight and all those things about you that make you different from make you different. I'm just going to leave it like that. The Magician and Star card, those first two cards to me feel like you've been here before. And feels like almost like you, and you don't have to be a teacher, but there's something about you that helps others or teaches others, or there's something really magnificent about your soul. As everybody's soul is magnificent, but it feels like you may be in a timeline at this moment where you're able to express that far more easily than perhaps others are at the moment. There's beauty, there's love, there's compassion in this. You've got the King of Cups, you've got Pisces, and you've got the Magician. The Star is the ability to live it, to show it, to breathe it, and to pull people up with it. You've got the contentment inside yourself. You know it, you feel it, but you haven't got many bad cards in this with regards to blockages apart from the shadow self. So I guess that you're concentrating on those bits where you haven't quite achieved yet. But to be honest, it's more like let them roll out naturally and let you deal with that when it comes to it, but don't think about it too much. You've got a job to do now. You need to let yourself be seen by others. You need to express yourself. You need to be there to let others see how you actually give of yourself in this world. This is not a scrabbler pile. And we all feel like this in life sometimes, where we're scrabbling and we need to hold on to things and it feels desperate. This is a pile like, you know where you are, you know who you are, you know that, this has got a feeling that, when you die, you're going to come back type of feeling, or you're not going to cry on your deathbed. You're going to be thinking, hey, this is interesting, what's next, and I feel like I've done a good job, and that type of feeling here. And you're supposed to be, this is like leading with your heart. This is like a north no type of feeling here. Where are you supposed to be going? You're leading with your heart in this lifetime for others to see that, not to be afraid, or not to feel like what is in front of their eyes is all that's in front of their eyes. And this is magnificent. And you do that already, and it's like, just hold on to that. This hasn't really got that many blockages into it, apart from questioning yourself possibly and thinking that your dark parts are more dark and dirty than anybody else's. No, they're not more dark and dirty. We've all got these inside us, everyone, all of us. And there's no other way. They come up and all the way through our life, and then we have time to deal with it. Don't think about it much more than that. Deal with it as squarely as you possibly can when it comes up. So to me, this pile is otherworldly in a very sort of straightforward way. Not otherworldly as in touchable, as in what can you learn from that, because it just, it's not like mist that flashes before your eyes, because you've got the Magician card there. You're somebody that leads with your heart, that you're somebody that knows who you are and where you sit in this world. So your blockages with regards to what you're manifesting is really not, there aren't that many blockages. It's be more of yourself. Get out there, let people see you, help people, be yourself. Don't convert yourself for what other people see as the correct thing to do in this world. No, just show people how relaxed you are, how easygoing you are, how you work with people, how you lead with your heart, basically, in every situation, because I think that's where your beauty lies. And just do it. Just do it. Don't second guess yourself. This is a pile of people who are, much needed in the world today. And because just by being with somebody, or the way that you react to something, or your different viewpoint on something, could make a huge impact on somebody else's life with this pile. Pile number 3, I'm going to leave that there. Your blockages are, just to leave you with a small few sentences, are to not think that your dirty parts are dirtier than anybody else's. To just say that is part of us all. That's why we're here. And to pay attention to your the parts that you can share with are going to already with this pile that are going to help others, and to carry on leading with your heart, and to have the courage, the guts and the courage to express who you are, because this type of feeling here, this type of feeling here with this card at the end, the Fool card with the mouse jumping off, you can often feel very uncourageous, if that's a word, in this world, because this pile isn't part of the mundane, and we live in a mundane world, so you're going to feel like you're ousted out. You know, you may not have the car, the clothes, the confidence, the, you know, all those type of things which are very much put you at the top of this world, but you've got far more than, I don't know, this sounds insulting to other people. You've got it all to me, this pile here. Beautiful. Absolutely magnificent. So your blockages are just be yourself. Don't second guess yourself. Be brave is probably the one I would leave you with there. Be brave with expressing who you are. Pile number 3, I'm going to leave you there. Please don't forget to like. Please, I was going to say this earlier. No, I won't say it. Please don't forget to like. And please comment, because it's really interesting reading your comments. If you fancy Patreon, check out that too. Thank you very much. Bye.